Welcome to one of my favorite places on earth. I've never been able to take a school group here because it's too far from Cusada, and too far from Pike Road, and too far from Montgomery, and it's definitely too far from Harrodsburg, Kentucky, and Lynette, Alabama. But it's not too far from Oasis K, because at Oasis K we have all day and no buses to share. So let's see what we can find inside. This is the walkway to the herb garden and the greenhouses, which are closed on Monday. So we'll have to come back together on not a Monday. You will learn that my father, who is now in heaven with Jesus, was a botany professor at Auburn University. His name was Dr. Freeman. And he would teach me to recognize plants even when they weren't blooming. So what you see here is the Alabama state flower. It's a Japanese import. It's the camellia, Camellia. It can be Sasanqua or it can be the double bloom. And I'm sure there's a name for that too. But this is the walkway that's laden in January. And if we want to see them blooming, we should take a field trip in January. Speaking of January, these hellebores love the shade and are known commonly as Lenten roses. Now, you and I both know these aren't real roses because there are no thorns. It's a perennial. That means it comes back year after year and it spreads. And it's still holding on bloom-wise even on May 16th. Can you imagine reading a story and talking about nature right here? I can. Boys and girls, the label to the camellia, here's an example, says Camellia japonica. So that's Japanese camellia. So it appears perhaps, unless there's a camellia professor out there, we are talking about Sasanqua and japonica for the two big groups of camellia, Alabama's state flower. Friends, it doesn't smell, but when it's blooming, oh, it's so beautiful. This is one of my favorite parts of the Birmingham Botanical Garden. There's grapes. They're not fruiting, flowering yet. You know, that's a fall harvest crop. But it leads to the greenhouses and the outdoor gardens for fruits and vegetables, which are given away to boys and girls and families that need a little extra food. There's signs saying don't eat the vegetables, and they tell you why. Of course, this is what we want to do at Oasis K too. I do not think Oasis K's garden will be quite this large. But wouldn't it be fun to come get ideas from this one before we plant our own? When we do come, we'll find out that many, many plants were used by Native Americans and early American pioneers, and probably worldwide, to get rid of headaches and stomach aches and fevers and lots of things that we now use over-the-counter medicines for. We should take a look at some of the plants that God gave us in order to heal. This thyme garden makes me want to roll in it. If you rub the leaves and you smell, ooh, spaghetti sauce on the way. Lavender is my favorite, but garlic chives are right behind. So friends, here are the vegetables that they are growing. See, here's the sign. Please do not pick the vegetable. Favor de no recoger los vegetales. They go to feed the Birmingham homeless and food insecure. Se les donan a los miembros de la comunidad que no tienen hogar y a quien les falta comida. It means they don't have a home and they need food to eat in both languages. The imagination and creativity here gets me so excited. My friends, look at these onions. Goodness gracious. And here is Mr. Rabbit that my Anna Caroline, who's now 26, and my John Michael, who's now 22, used to climb on every time we would come to the Birmingham Botanical Garden, wouldn't you? Now friends, this is a special place. Sometimes boys and girls and grown-ups travel in wheelchairs because their legs don't work the same way ours do. And this garden is raised up so that wheelchairs can roll right up to it and be at eye level and learning level for anything that's planted in the garden. Now let's see what these tags say. They're looking like a squash or a cucumber to Miss Beale. This one says, oh, lemon squash. That sounds amazing. And these look a lot like tomatoes. Looking good, guys. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a watermelon, or it could be a cantaloupe, but here's what I'm so excited about. They're planted very much like the ones I did at home, which means if Birmingham Botanic Garden did it a certain way, then me, a learner, hey, I'm growing too. Very excited. Friends, you have to be so patient because many times when you start a plant from seed, it has to germinate. That means the moisture in the soil and that God sends when He sends rain and the sunshine all work together to help that plant break out of its hard shell. The cotyledon, the living part of the cell seed, needs to come out, and when it does, it pops out of the soil, makes about 2 leaves at first, and then it starts to develop from there. Friends, if you don't love flowers, maybe you'll love architecture. But I have a feeling you're going to love flowers after just a little bit of time at Oasis Kindergarten. Looks like lots of places to run and stretch our legs. And you know, there might be even a water feature or two around here. This is the greenhouse that's closed on Monday. But I'm going to show you what the path looks like. Now, friends, Birmingham has its very own iron floral clock. Planted right outside it, we have Angelonia, which is so beautiful. Looks like it could be pink, purple, white, deep purple, with some blue salvia right behind it, and some yellow marigolds. Oops, sorry, lantana. And the advantage to all of those plants is they will attract butterflies. Butterflies pollinate. Now, Miss Bill can remember when this used to be a fountain, a water feature, and the water has been turned off for a while. But look what's at 5 o'clock. It's a trillium. And that is also known as wood lily. It is the plant that my father did his dissertation and his graduate work on, his favorite. With you learning about it at 4, 5, 6, you'll be ahead of most adults. I know. Enough of the flowers. You want to run on the grass and go see the fountain, don't you? We can. Just not on a Monday. We got to see it all if we come. Friends, I should surprise you and wait till Monday, but I can't. One thing you'll learn about Miss Beale is I can keep a secret sometimes, but not all the time. Inside this beautiful structure are 3 parts. There is an area that grows indoor things that are winter happy, like camellias or some citrus fruits, because it gets too cold in Alabama to grow citrus, oranges, grapefruits, lemons, limes very well. We let our neighbors Florida do that job for us. And then in the middle section, it's a conservatory. It's a greenhouse, and inside, some people call it an orangerie, like a place back in England where citrus fruit could be grown year-round. But you'll find orchids and all sorts of beautiful tropical plants, bromeliads, things that require a lot of water, so they would be happy in the rainforest, in a jungle-type environment. And then in this section of the greenhouse, you'll find an alpine area and a desert area. So plants that don't need very much water. They're succulents. They hold their water in. And there are some cacti in this part of the greenhouse that are taller than Miss Beale. Can't wait to bring you.